Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everyone. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, everybody. Boom. Welcome. I'm getting ready, finding my picks. We're broadcasting from the pole barn here today. Hi, it's Willie. It's Willie from the pole barn. A big dad shed, right? Seems like a fitting venue for today, Father's Day, out in a pole barn. I love it. All right. Today is a tribute to fatherhood, but we're sort of turning that on its head and instead making it about the children and the future. Didn't want to make it too much about fatherhood. I wanted to shine more light on what fatherhood means. And fatherhood really means children to me. And in these tough times, that just seemed the right place to focus this. So welcome, everybody. I hope you're having a great Father's Day. And I'm going to play for the next hour and 15 minutes. And perhaps you saw I released a new song a couple days ago. Hello, Michael Ryder. Hello, Mitch. I released a new song a couple days ago, and it's called There's One in Every Generation. And you may have seen the video for it. There's one in every generation. There comes a daughter or son, one who opens up our imagination. Are you the one? There is one in every generation, standing right up for what's true, fighting for dignity in tough situations. Will that be you? Oh, lift yourself by treating everybody exactly how they want to be treated. Lift yourself by letting everyone know exactly how much they're needed. Lift yourself by giving everyone here a dignified place to stand. You will be the one who makes the difference in the end. There is one in every generation, someone who puts it all on the line, someone with the courage of their convictions, changing hearts, souls, and minds. Whoa, lift yourself by treating everybody exactly how they want to be treated. Lift yourself by letting everyone know exactly how much they're needed. Lift yourself by giving everyone here a dignified place to stand. You will be the one who makes the difference in the end. There is one in every generation, someone who aims for the sun, one who lifts the lid off our imagination, getting business done. Hey, are you the one? Hey, there's one in every generation now. Are you the one? Are you the one? All right, that's a song that I wrote with Nico Fuzz. Nico Fuzz, Nekofuzz, a producer, and he and I whittled that track off. Oh, he? Maybe it's a she. Maybe it's an animal. Anyway, we whipped that one off, and like I said, in the if you're subscribed to my email list, you learned a little bit about this song. Here I'm going to put up, if you want to subscribe to my email list, I'm going to put up that little ticker here. You can write down that URL right at the bottom. Hey, Gary, my father-in-law is here, everybody. I have one audience member in the pole barn.
There we go. Maybe a couple of birds flying around.
And maybe a couple birds. Plenty of mosquitoes, actually, people. I am definitely suffering for my art here today. I'm lunch meat for mosquitoes. But Gary, I'll be playing a song in 1 minute. But for that song that I just played, there's one in every generation. I released a video subtitled People of Peace. And in these hard times, I found it, as I explained in my email, please subscribe down there on the bottom there. In these rancorous times, it felt really good to go study peacemakers and to refresh myself on Henry David Thoreau and Toni Morrison, and of course all the obvious ones too, like MLK and Abe Lincoln and all that. And just it inspired me to put together a whole video, People of Peace, and I put it to that song. And you can find it at my Facebook page or my YouTube page. Please give it a spin. I every time I get to Jane Goodall, I burst out in tears because it looks like she's singing with a monkey to my song. And it's like, oh my God, this is all inclusive, every culture. There's people from every culture, the Dalai Lama and Gandhi. And you know, I wanted to put people from every continent. I lost track, you know, Nelson Mandela. But we're even cross species. So that was exciting. All right, so for the next song, it's Father's Day. I wanted to start out from the point of view of kids. Oh, and look who's coming. I have a bunch of kids coming in. Hey guys, I'm online. Did you come to hear a song? Okay, you got to stay for 2 songs.
We got to get Stetson.
These well, I'm online, so Stetson might be, it's live, baby. All right, this song, Winston helped write this song. It's Winston's birthday today, too. Not only is it summer solstice, but it's this kid's birthday. Imagine being born on the longest day of the year. I think that's pretty telling. All right. He's long in kindness. Anyway, Winston has a good way with words. And when about 5 years ago, I was having a writing session with our dear friend Kristen Mooney, my partner in the band we call The Lover, the Keeper. Winston, just poke your head in here, say hello.
Hi.
That's Winston. It doesn't seem like he's got away with words, but you know, he's got a hi in him. And Kristen and I were at the table writing, and Winston popped in, and he said, "Mom, you're the lover." And, you know, that was sweet enough to hear from, what, a 7-year-old boy. And then he looks at me and he goes, "And Dad, you're the keeper." And there was something poetic about it. And he wasn't talking about keeper in the fishing sense. You know, like we're going to throw this fish back, or keeper. He was talking about my garage specifically, and how I never throw anything away, and about how our garages are always packed with stuff. And hey, we've got a Noah's Ark of stuff in the garage, and if you want anything, I certainly have it. But you got to go move about 6 other things and unstack a whole bunch of junk. And so I'm always out in the garage keeping my stuff. So that was cute. And Winston, this is your song, kiddo. Oh, you don't want to hear it? All right. Oh, he has to go to the bathroom. All right, another year. Happy birthday. He's a teenager. He's 13. All the kids left. This song, not only did he title it The Lover, the Keeper, but he also named our band The Lover, the Keeper. And I usually sing this one with Kristen Mooney, but here we go solo today. And you can hear our work on all the places where you stream music. The Lover, the Keeper. She will bring you bread and butter. He will carry pails of water. Once all infinite strands of pulsing light, we can see our breath on this frozen night. The lover and the keeper, the lover and the keeper, the lover and the keeper, the lover and the keeper. Tracing patterns in the hoarfrost, they will lead you back to what you've lost. Once all infinite strands of pulsing light, we can see our breath on this frozen night. The lover and the keeper, the lover and the keeper, the lover and the keeper, the lover and the keeper. Tea in half light, morning paper. He dreams of talking, but does not wake her. Once all infinite strands of pulsing light, we can see our breath on this frozen night. The lover and the keeper, the lover and the keeper, the lover and the keeper, the lover and the keeper. Thank you. Thank you. I have two audience members here in the pole barn. It's Willie in the pole barn. That should be a Sirius XM channel. Willie's Roadhouse, whatever. Willie's pole barn. Or maybe Bocephus's pole barn. Check out my shirt. All right. So that was my son's song. And we're starting, before we start talking about the future or the violence or the changes afoot in our culture, I still just want to concentrate on the children. My children have been a boundless inspiration for me. And soon after Ella was born, some 10 years ago, in the years after Ella was born, but I think about 10 years ago, I wrote this song. She inspired this one. It's called Ella, but I think maybe it should be called Baby, Don't You Touch Ground. You kiss my neck and it feels sweet. 1,000 circles draw complete, and deep inside this painful world, love endures. And baby, don't you touch ground. Our paths were never very clear. Our motives might have been impure, but But after all this time of love endures, remember surely I'll be there when you're down. Yeah, baby, don't you touch the ground. Well, cable cars, Manhattan bars, where Sundays last forever. The things that made us sad seem far away. Oh, baby, don't you touch ground. Whoa, flatboard schemes, new human beings. Remember once I said never. The things that made us sad seem far away. And so we go following dreams, for good or worse or in between. And who'd have thought that with one little girl we could change our world? And baby, don't you touch ground. Yeah, baby, don't you touch ground. Oh, L.I.B., don't you touch ground. Oh, yeah, 'cause Daddy's here when you're down. That one's for my daughter. My daughter. I had a that reminds me, I had a tour of Japan on the books about 6 weeks before she was born. And she decided to be 6 weeks premature. So Kay gave birth, and 48 hours later, I'm off on a tour of Japan. And yeah, that was a little inconvenient, but it's nice to know it doesn't diminish the love between a father and a daughter. And that's that. She is a beautiful spirit. Beautiful spirit. Kill the mosquito. All right, so I really, there's just been so many thoughtful DJs and music curators putting out songs that address the time that we're in. And boy, someone played Jim Ladd, famous epic FM DJ from the 60s. He was friends with the Doors and Crosby, Stills, Nash, all that guy. He lived in Laurel Canyon until quite recently. Lived in Laurel Canyon for 50 years. He was a neighbor. And he's an Sirius XM DJ. And he played this next song on the air. And I thought, wow, that's pretty damn appropriate for the time. And I hope I can do it justice. Oh, by the way, everybody, I wanted to ask, is how's the sound? Is everything? Oh, here we go. We got some comments. Mitch, hi, Will. Hi, Mitch. Jennifer from New York. You are making my night. Oh, wow. I'll take it. Jennifer, you're so sweet. I haven't seen your face in person in years. And boy, I'm straight out to New York the minute this quarantine lets up. Shay, hello. Happy birthday, Winston. Oh, yes, I will tell him. Winnie, Shay says happy birthday, kiddo. Shay, you're awesome. Kate McCready, love you. Emily, hi, happy Father's Day. Okay, and Rhonda, what's Rhonda saying? Thanks for doing this on Father's Day. I'm so glad to be with you. Miles, my man from Nashville. Thank you, Miles. I appreciate it. Yeah, you dug that record hard. You went deep inside that, and I really appreciated that. Mr. LaVille, I love you. One of my oldest friends from high school. And Kate, oh, it sounded good? Good. I was concerned that maybe you couldn't hear the guitars or anything. Okay, and we are back to the music. All right, next is the song that I threatened. And I really this one dedicated to my mom, actually, because she not only was this one of her most favorite artists in the whole world, but she and I, she was going through the divorce with my beloved dad, and it was a tough divorce. And I was only 16 years old, and my mom had 2 tickets to a concert that she needed someone to go with her. And they were at the Carlton Celebrity Room in the Twin Cities, and it was 1979 or 80, and 70, probably 80. And we went. We had front row table. It was a celebrity room, so it was sort of a Las Vegas style dinner thing. And we sat front row, front table, to see Johnny Cash and family. And there's a funny story. June was there, of course, his wife, and everybody knows the story. And she played her little set. Roseanne played a little set. Roseanne, I think, was 16 at the time also. And she came out and played a lovely set. And he had his original rhythm section with him, just a stand-up drummer. The guys that played it, Folsom Prison were with him. And he had the... We were right in front of the trumpet players. The trumpet players had their bells aimed right at our table. And June Carter comes out to do a set on the auto harp, and she's sitting on a stool. And she was a very passionate person, and she was wearing this big dress with ruffles and lots of cleavage, and it was just a floral sort of how would you say it? Well, what's the word I'm thinking of? Kentucky, the hills, no, it's a region of the country, and I'm Appalachian. It was like an Appalachian dress. Anyway, she was playing the zither, and she's just, I don't know if she was playing, she wasn't playing Jackson yet, because that would have been a duet, and she's just strumming her heart out, and suddenly, boop, her boobs just pop out of the dress. And I'm like 16, sitting in the front row with my mother, and everything, fire alarms. Okay, anyway, it was a great concert, very memorable. So, anyway... This one goes out to my mom because this one is by Johnny Cash. And I know that's a funny story, but this song resonates hard. I really beg you to listen to these lyrics. This man was a genius. He reflected on society in a genius way, and he reflected back on himself in a genius way. Just that as Prince is, I draw a parallel. Prince was purple, Johnny Cash was black, right? Well, you wonder why I always dress in black, why you never see bright colors on my back, and why does my appearance seem to have a somber tone? Well, there's a reason for these things that I have on. I wear back for the poor and beaten down, living in the hopeless, hungry side of town. I wear it for the prisoner who's long paid for his crime, but is there because he's a victim of the time. I wear black for those who've never read or listened to the words that Jesus said about the road to happiness through love and charity. Well, I believe he's talking straight to you and me. Well, we're doing mighty fine, I suppose, in our streak of lightning cars and fancy clothes. But just so we're reminded of the ones who are held back, up front there ought to be a man in black. Well, I wear it for the sick and lonely old, for the reckless ones whose bad trip left them cold. I wear black in the morning for the lives that could have been. Each week we lose 100 fine young men. And I wear it for the thousands who have died, believing that the Lord was on their side. And I wear it for another 100,000 who have died, believing that we were on their side. Well, there's things that never will be right, I know. And things need changing pretty much everywhere you go. But till we start to make a move to make a few things right, you'll never see me wear a suit of white. And I'd love to wear a rainbow every day and tell you people that everything's okay. But I'll try to carry off a little darkness on my back till things are brighter. I'm your man in black. Till things are brighter, I'm your man in black. Till things are brighter, I'm your man in black. Man, thank you, kids. What an empathetic song. What an empathetic person. What a not pathetic, empathetic. What a heart. What a heart of gold. A man who knew about the suffering of all people, no matter their color, no matter if they'd broken the law, no matter if they were a king or a princess. That man knew all about it. Makes me cry. Honestly does. Johnny Cash. Years later, my mom met him in an airport, believe it or not. And ironically, to this song, because the last verse is, where is it? Things that, but till we start to make a move, to make a few things right, you'll never see me wear a suit of white. Well, like in the late 80s or early 90s, my mom was in the Minneapolis airport going on some business trip. She looks up and here's Johnny Cash coming down the concourse at her in a white duster. So he must have been in a good period then. And she's like, Mr. Cash, soon after my divorce, my son and I were called in Celebrity Room. Oh, I remember that show. And blah, 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 blah. Can I have your autograph? And she got his autograph for me. Johnny Cash to Billy. So, wearing his suit of white. There's hope. If Johnny Cash wore white occasionally, particularly to go on an airplane, I think there's hope for all of us. All right. My dear friend Mike LaVille, I know, is watching. He and I lived in Dinkytown for many years in Minneapolis, a neighborhood near the U of M. And, man, we lived in a pretty rickety place. And that when I started the Willie Wisely Trio in 87, 89-ish, I wrote a song about that place. And the landlord was so crappy. I mean, we paid each $159 a month to live in this 3-bedroom, but, so you can't complain. Location was good, but it was just awful. Pet smells and you could see through down into the neighbors and all this stuff. And sure, I learned a lot about having a bad landlord. But then around that time, I read a James Baldwin, I think a short story, and in it there's a James Baldwin, the new documentary on him. Check in on that. I hear it's fantastic. And Dave Perner from Soul Asylum was kind of going off on that, among many other people. So, but I was reading some James Baldwin, and there was a scene in one of his books where something about kerosene. They're getting all these buckets of kerosene, and they're going to burn. It was riots of Harlem. Maybe it was in the ones in the 40s, probably, I think. And I can't remember exactly what those riots were called, and people were just burning down their own homes and their own businesses, and much as was done across the country recently, particularly here in the Twin Cities. For reasons that we'll discuss later. But this song came immediately to mind because I wrote this song out of an empathy of feeling like, God, this place would just be better if you just burned it down. They wouldn't pay to fix it up. Now they're gonna pay. They'll see it burning down. They wouldn't pay to fix it up. Now they're gonna pay, they'll see it burning down. We're gonna take 6 buckets of kerosene, we're gonna burn it down. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, they live upstairs for slightly more than 44 years or so. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, they live upstairs. Slightly more than 44 years or so. We're gonna take 6 buckets of kerosene. We're gonna burn it down. Spill a quart in every room or so. Wake up little Susie, man, they ain't found her yet. Spill a quart in every room or so. Wake up, fool, put out your cigarette. Well, ain't nobody gonna make a fuss or raise a stink. Just help old Joe out onto the street now. Ain't nobody gonna make a fuss or raise a stink. Just help old Joe out onto the street. We're gonna take 6 buckets of kerosene. We're gonna burn it down. 6 buckets of kerosene. 6 buckets of kerosene. No, 6 buckets. 6 buckets of kerosene. We're gonna take 6 buckets of. We're gonna burn it down. Woo! So when people are pushed to the brink and want to burn down their own neighborhoods, you know you got problems. In the words of Toni Morrison, if I have to kneel to make you tall, you have a problem. And I'd say we have a problem. We have a big problem, a big dark problem, a problem that is threatening to blow out the sun. Out the sun, shinned up a ladder and snuffed out the life-giving one. Can't you comprehend the magnitude when you blew out the sun? Pulls down the clouds, drags them back hissing and kicking to die on the ground. Why, oh why do I confide in you when you blew out the sun? How am I so blind as to abide you? Beauty belies you, hides every wound. Towards the night we glide, me tight behind you. Gone towards the light of lost afternoons. Punched out the moon, picked up a stone and plucked the old bird in the eye. How will I survive your vicissitudes when you blew out the sun? You blew out the sun. So speaking of the sun, that's funny. I caught this comment from Mike LaVille, my roommate in Dinkytown. Yeah, it wasn't Mr. and Mrs. Jones who lived upstairs. It was Tom and Joni. It was. Oh, they had awful taste in music, and they would blast it at top volume. Reminds me of the Rolling Stones song, right, Mike? Neighbors, neighbors. All right. Mitch, thanks for your compliment on the story. I've got more. Jen, you sweetheart. Okay. Margaret Harstad. Oh my God, I adore you. Thanks for coming. All right. Meg. All right, regarding who blew out the sun, Britt Justice chimes in, yes, my vocabulary and IQ both increased the first time I heard blew out the sun. I promise a thesaurus was not checked. But I probably had to look up the word vicissitudes before I used it as a lyric too. You know, you use words before you know what they mean, right? All right, next song. I wanted to continue on this sun theme, the source of all light. The source of all life. And it seemed like a fitting song for Father's Day again, because it's all about procreating, right? Anyway, the Who Blew Out the Sun is a frightening song. I think it was written by Václav, or the phrase "Who Blew Out the Sun." I think I stole that from Václav Havel, the Czechoslovakian writer. I think he did some poetry, and I may have stolen that from him. He was the first. I should have put him in my People of Peace video. He was all about a reconciliationist. Post-Soviet era Czechoslovakia, I believe he was the first democratically elected leader there. Anyway, so Who Blew Out the Sun was a pretty tragic song. He had witnessed a lot of war and suffering under the communist rule. And but I wanted to sing also a very positive song about the sun. And it seemed fitting too, since we're celebrating kids here today. I really believe that kids should, that living a life of wide-ranging emotions is very important. I think you have to know how to be lovely, and you have to also know what it means to assert and be bold. And I believe you need to be able to whisper and yell. And I think it's really important to feel the breadth of what it means to be human. And only when you know the breadth of that will you truly understand love.
Face the sun, taste the rain, savor healing, touch your pain. To take the middle road is to live not at all. You know love once you feel it all. Oh, you know love once you face the sun. Ride the wind, sink in the sea, holler rage, practice peace. To take the middle road is to live not at all. You know love once you feel it all. Oh, you know love once you face the sun. you'll find love. Be together, be alone, walk in circles, seek the unknown. To take the middle road is to live not at all. You'll know love once you feel it all. Oh, you'll know love once you face the sun. Oh, you'll know love once you face the sun. Face the sun. Yo, you know love. Face the sun. You know love.
All right. Thank you, Miles. Thank you, Mug, sweetie. And Miles. Wisely words, I guess. Oh, hey, I'll take the pun. Never heard that one before. All right. Okay. Let's see. Mike LaVille, do you guys play new wave music? Mike and I were in our first bands together in 1982, 83. And Mike, you'll have to remind me of that story. But yeah, we were trying to. Oh, yeah. I think we hired a guitarist who really wanted to play new wave music. We were more into 60s rock. Anyways, an odd combination of people. Okay. So we are going to, we're moving on from the sun, and I thought, for this episode, given what's going on in the streets of Minneapolis, even just last night, there was another shooting specifically at 29th and Hennepin. And when I learned that this morning, that at midnight, between, I think, 12:27 is what I read in the news. When I read there was a shooting there last night, I freaked out because synchronicity was too strong. I was sitting in my suburban study practicing for this show, practicing exactly this song that has a verse. The whole focus of this song, the payoff of this song is a car pulls up the curb, the window rolls as a pistol is exposed. He says, "No whiteys on my turf," and his pistol squirts. And that was a true story. I was riding my bike at 29th and Hennepin over that railroad bridge there, right in front of Williams Pub. And I was riding home from the bars, and a car pulled up beside me, pacing me, and the window rolled down, and I thought I was going to lose my life. And so I wrote this next song about that moment, and to wake up this morning and find out that at 12:30 last night, I'm practicing this song, thinking about I should tell this story to people last night. And to hear that there's a shooting in the exact same place last night freaked me out. And I don't like this new reality. It's really something we have to make a change about. My dear friend Benno Nelson, I was talking to him last night, and he's like, I'm through talking to my Trumpy neighbors here in Nashville. I'm tired of trying to talk people into voting for a more reasonable candidate, and it's just time for action. And he had an actionable list for me, and it was a beautiful thing to hear. So for me to stop complaining, and it's time for all of us to start doing. And I believe I have, but I believe I have not done enough. All right, so this song is called Rain Can, written in 1991.
I wander up a hill to see the city by the bay. It fills with bilge and all the sewage of one day. I'm blown away. So I bought myself a rain can. I prayed for water. I ride my bike through town. For years I never feared until they knocked me down. They stole my shit and kicked my face. I am amazed. So I bought myself a rain can. I prayed for water. My rain can caught a cup of Belgian water. Whoa, yo, yo. Whoa, yo. A car pulls up the curb. The window rolls as a pistol is exposed. He says, no whiteys on my turf. His pistol squirts. So I bought myself a rain can. I prayed for water. My rain can caught a cup of Belgian water. A friend pulls me aside. He said, stop singing about the issues of our day. Ha! Everything you've said is just so base. I don't think so, Tim. You're just a pretty face. So I bought myself a rain can. I prayed for water. My rain can caught a cup of Belgian water. Water.
That was dedicated to the person who lost their life in the shooting last night at 29th and Hennepin. What else can we offer besides the song? I don't know. Ridiculous. All right. This next song, I'm going to talk to you for a minute here. I owned a duplex at 40th and Park Avenue, which is on Bryant Park in South Minneapolis, and the duplex was exactly kitty corner on the park from Cup Foods, where George Floyd lost his life. And Cup Foods for many years was my convenience store. That's where I'd go to buy cigarettes, and just kidding. Where I'd go to buy my late night potato chips, to be honest, and Spree, I think. But George Floyd's killing really hit me hard, and I stopped doing these live concerts for a number of weeks because I just didn't know what to say. And it hit home for me because that was my neighborhood. And that neighborhood has been struggling, and it's been struggling since the 1960s when a superhighway was built through it. And a superhighway was built through it because it was already becoming a neighborhood of people of color. And they basically had no choice but to let this highway, this big, noisy highway, carve their neighborhood in half and demolish, a couple city blocks wide all the way through it, right? Neighborhood's been recovering ever since, and apparently it isn't recovering at all. I bought my duplex in 1997. There were the front door of the place was I don't want to be killing things while I'm talking about this, but the irony. And I bought it. The front door had been blown apart by bullet holes. Somebody was trying to get in the house by shooting bullets at the doorknob. And when I bought it, I went upstairs. There were blood stain on the wall. It was just like there was a shooting in that place. I renovated it, lived there happily. But gotta say, the neighborhood was really tough. The police there were not pretty. I remember distinctly one memory I have. A brick was thrown through my car window in the back alley where I parked it, and I called the cops, and they pulled up and started grilling me like I was the criminal. And it was a memorably unpleasant experience. Like, I'm just trying to help here. And no amount of niceness and sweetness on my part helped their attitude. And I remember them just screaming off, not just unceremoniously, not even saying goodbye. And I got to say, when I started this rock and roll thing and I started touring the nation, and all through the 90s, we toured from Canada to the Virgin Islands and many points in between. The run-ins with the police were never pleasant. Back then, rock and roll wasn't a career choice that you could go to high school, that you could go to a music school and study audio engineering on a computer. It wasn't a legitimate career choice. It was something you chose to do because everything else that was being offered to you was uninteresting. Okay. And I'm not going to call it rebellion. I don't consider myself a rebellious person, but I consider myself perhaps just, I don't know, unconventional. And so I chose music. And back then you were a long hair, right? From the cops' point of view, we were nothing but trouble. Marijuana was not legal. Okay. And likely that's what we were eating for lunch, right? And they pulled us up over at every juncture in Texas, in Iowa, sitting on the curb, for an hour, just waiting for them to stop hassling us, confiscating my van in Winnipeg, in Manitoba, being told I would never get it back, sitting in a padded room for 2 hours while they told me, my van is gone. And like military personnel were checking it out, and the full cavity search. The cop thing, imagine that. And if my skin were black, right? Or brown, right? I can't imagine it. And so when I see this rioting and this looting, I think this is completely okay. It's against the law. Two wrongs don't make a right. I get it. But it's totally rational to me that you would want to destroy things, maybe even your own things in your own neighborhood, right? Because enough is enough. And when people aren't even allowed to be good citizens, when you don't let them participate in their destiny, you're just asking for this. What do you think is going to be the outcome? So I'm not surprised. It seems perfectly rational to me. I hope it stops. I love the protests. And God, please let this lead to some kind of change. We need it so badly. But I gotta say, I haven't watched the video of George Floyd's murder, and I will not because I don't want to have to unsee it, and that would be impossible. But I do know that when I heard he was crying out for his mother in his last breaths, who had died 2 years previous, I thought, oh my God, what grace this person has. What grace this person had in their heart as they were dying to have those utterances be their last. And it reminded me of a song that I wrote it reminded me of a song I wrote a while back during the AIDS epidemic. There's still an AIDS epidemic, right? And I recently lost a friend to AIDS, actually. It's still a killer. And he had so much grace in his passing. He fought so hard during his treatments, and he was a huge music supporter. And Adrian really reached out to many, many musicians who he loved and believed in. And man, he loved my song, I Can't Sleep. And if there's 500 views on the live version of that on YouTube, I'm betting 300 of them are from Adrian. And every time he listened to it, he would post on Facebook that he was listening. And how many nights did he make my day? When I would see my Facebook alerts, and how much love did he send me? And as he was dying from this horrible disease, how much grace did he have? And I think about living people, and I think about the policeman and his fucking knee. And I think, how will living people be forgiven in the face of these people who are dying with such grace? So I will sing you the song called Alive. And this one goes out to Floyd's mother in particular. Feed me with a fever, eat though I can't take a bite, cook for two like you used to do, make me think that I'm alive, laugh at me with feeling, laugh though I can't slap my thigh, smile away like you used to do, make me think that I'm alive, love me with more feeling, mama wrap your arms around this corpse, love me for the last time in my life, make me think that I'm alive. Love me with more feeling, mama wrap your arms around this corpse, love me for the last time in my life, make me think that I'm alive, make me think that I'm alive, make me think that I'm alive. Stop the murder. Oh, Jen, I loaned her my guitar. I will have to play that for you. Not today, my dear sister. I'm so sorry. I don't feel like laughing. All right. Oh, Tina, thank you very much. Paul, Rain Can, perfect choice for today in so many ways. It really is, Paul. I owned a house at 41st and Pleasant, says Margaret. My mom shops there regularly. Agreed. What to say? So difficult. Amen. Amen. Haha, Jennifer. And Mitch, yikes, capo ape threat. Yeah. That was pretty intense. Basically playing a mandolin on that one, right? Shay! You love this song? Thank you, my man. Okay, let's see. We are moving on to... oh, yes. Can't wait to play this one for you. I've been wanting to play this one all week. There's no way I'm going to do justice to the original, okay? I humbly play this. The best I can hope for, I heard Bruce Springsteen play a Bob Dylan song the other day, and it was actually damn good. Like, I'm like, oh, Bruce, you I mean, hey, Bruce is at the same level, but I mean, just doing a Dylan song and having it be maybe even more profound, that's something else. That's Nina Simone doing Strange Fruit level kind of thing. I'm going to try it. It doesn't matter how I play it. This ain't about me. It's not about the singer. It's about the song. The singer had trouble with his father, and today is Father's Day. The singer had big trouble with his father. This song not only works for Father's Day, it works for what's going on in the country right now, in the world. That's all I'm going to say.
Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying. Brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Father, Father, there's no need to escalate. War is not the answer, for all in love can conquer hate. You know we've got to find a way to bring some understanding here today. Yeah, picket signs and picket lines don't punish me with brutality. Come on, talk to me so that you can see what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? I tell you what's going on. What about Mother, mother, everybody says we're wrong. Who are they to judge us simply 'cause our hair is long? Oh, you know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Picket signs and picket lines don't punish me with brutality. Come on, talk to me so that you can see what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? I tell you what's going on. Whoa, no, 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 no. Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying. Brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying.
For real. Thank you. My audience is back. The McCreadys are here.
They're listening from the porch.
Oh, good.
Hey! Come here!
I know, Mug. Isn't that like that song is so perfect, and it just wraps up a whole bunch of things I've been thinking about, and man. Anyway, I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're doing well. Okay. Paul, thank you. Hey, it's not about the singer. It's about the song. Mitch, nicely done.
Willie?
Tough with just one guy. It really is. It really is. And it's a tough song. Yeah, because Marvin Gaye sang as if he was. Marvin Gaye sang as though he was singing on a cloud, and he played with tempo so beautifully, and it's hard to sing as mellifluously as him and keep a beat. Anyway, so we're moving back to children a little bit and how this is their world. And I've got just a few songs left that I want to play for you today on Father's Day 2020. June 21st, the longest day of the year. We're a few mosquitoes short of a deck. I'm sweating a bit, so I'm attracting them, but it's important that artists pay for their work before you do, which actually accidentally leads me straight into this. If you do want to support at all, you can see the banner at the bottom of your screen, and it's you can. I've got the tip. It's not a great season to be selling things, but if you want to purchase any music, downloads, CDs, T-shirts, anything, vinyl records too, if you're into that, I ship them out right away. It's all personal, direct to the artist, and support. You can support me at Bandcamp. I'll leave that up for a minute. All right. Oh, Mitch, Mitch thought the pocket was good on the Marvin Gaye song. That's great. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to back to children. I wrote a song. I've done a number of new songs here today, like "Face the Sun" is one of my newest songs, but this is one of my oldest, and it's as a young songwriter, I wrote a lot about my earliest life experiences, and one of them is best summed up by the first line of this song. We dream of raising children, and even as a admittedly horny 20-year-old, I always was I always had in mind, like, I really just want to find the love of my life. I don't want to horse around too much, and I'm really in this for the long term. I was probably too much of a husband. Like in high school, the girl I loved in my high school was, I was way too serious, too young. Anyway, so I wrote this song when I was young about raising children and about, and that's all I'll say. But I also want to say that every single line in this came exactly true in my life. Okay, it's not often that you can basically write in your diary when you're 20 years old, and every line of it how many years would this be? 35 years later, every line is exactly true. So I'll just sing it for you, and you can know that this is my life with my wife, who's standing right off the bow of the boat. And yes, I am broadcasting today with you from a powerboat in the pole barn. It's Willie's pole barn from the powerboat. I love it. This is so good. And there's my wife. I can't quite pivot it. Are you there? There she is. Okay. Anyway, she's here. Every word of this song that I wrote in probably the late 80s has come exactly true with the love of my life. And this song is called simply Children. And you'll hear an outchorus, an instrumental outchorus, and our trombonist in the band used to go apeshit on this song. He would climb the rafters of the club. He was like Eddie Vedder, going over the hanging from the top of the light fixtures in the nightclubs and stuff. And I think that's who that was. Anyway, am I thinking of the wrong Seattle band? Anyway, Greg would just go nuts. He'd go out into the audience and just I won't exactly have a tirade of music at the end here, but that's what those instrumental sections are. Think of standing in the audience of a smoky club and having this lumbering 6'6" trombonist come over and blast big notes into your face. All right. And it was all about children. I eventually had to take this song out of our live sets because it's you're out there, you're touring, you're trying to create the rock and roll image, and you're singing songs about having children and little toddlers showing up at your bedroom at night and what you're going to name your kids. It got embarrassing, but now I look back at this now and it's perfectly sentimental for this guy. Children are our future, and this song was written in the past, all about the future.
Whoa, we dream of raising children. Little knocks on our door late at night. They'd say, "Mommy, my room, it's haunted. If I sleep with you, I'll be real quiet." Then you'd say,
"Oh, hey kid, I'm trying to sleep here.
"But you can stay if your father says all right." So we giggle as I get off you. Either way, no shut-eye tonight. Well, we'll drive them, we'll get them to lessons, and we'll learn how to sing us some tunes, and we'll harmonize and croon for amusement. Spend Sundays as families should do. Then with our eyes entirely open, we'll raise children better than our parents knew to do. So take down those old high school history books. We'll find them names only old folks would choose. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, 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 ba, 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 oh, yo, oh. Oh, oh, ba, oh, oh, oh. We'd be doing my family a big favor if we give them 2 beautiful kids. But we'd fill them up with righteous ideas, like my own ma and dad never did. Then you'd say, "Hey Will, I'm trying to sleep here. Can your lofty topics please wait until the dawn?" Yes, my words will be patient. Whoa, but not the urge I feel coming on. Here we're gonna play the urge. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 children.
Crazy. Everything came true. The 2 kids, the interrupted water sports, the all manners of stuff. We gave them old-fashioned names, Winston and Eleanor, basically. Yeah, it's crazy. Kay, this proves that I knew you before I knew you.
Never heard that song.
No, it's really old. It wasn't even released on Rain Can. I left it off the original album, and so it's like this late period bone. I just made it public just a couple years ago. All right, that's funny. And speaking and then not funny, All right. The things that are going on are very real. And I want to just, I don't know. I'll tell you what. I'm not going to do that one. We got 2 songs left. And I'm basically closing with this one. I'm going to do a Bob Dylan song for an encore. And but I want to kind of end with this one. And the song is, we're all trying to get some calm lately, and we're all trying to find some peace. And please, check out the video I just made, the People of Peace video that I posted on all my sites. It's just a montage of people who knew about equality and generosity and love and peace, and turned their illuminations into actions that inspire the rest of us. It's really important in these bleak times to study the people of joy. Okay. We have our neighbors here now in the audience, and they bring me a lot of joy. Not only do they loan me the sailboat, but they have this beautiful sign in their lawn that says, "All are welcome here." And every time I see that sign, I cry. I cry for joy. I love you guys, and everyone should have that sign in their front yard. It's so easy to be cold and forget other people. It's so easy. But you know what? It's even easier to just be joyful and accepting and loving. All right. I'm all in a bundle of tears now. How am I going to sing? We're all trying to find some calm. I took the song that I wrote for my new album called I Can't Sleep, and my dear friend Mark Copeland inspired me to do a whole bunch of remixes for it, and we recently released the EP. It's on my sites. You can go play it on Spotify or YouTube or Apple Music, whatever. And the song was written. There's one apocryphal tale about how my wife actually accidentally wrote the song and didn't know it, but there's another song in here too. We lived in a 800 square foot home in the Hollywood Hills when we started having babies. And there weren't enough bedrooms for 2 people, much less 3 or 4. And for literally years, Kay and I slept where we could. Kay slept on the couch. I slept on this bunk in the back off the kitchen on this weird trapezoidal shelf. And and then we built a room underneath the front a room. It was like 10 by 10. You could barely fit a bed in it. It was underneath our front porch. It wasn't even underneath the house, and that was where we slept where we could, when we could. Having children is a beautiful thing, and it means everything in life, but it took a lot of my wife's and my energy away from us. Right. And I look back at this song and I realize that I wanted to sleep next to my wife during those years, and I couldn't. And there was, much was gained and something was lost, and I missed her. Well, we're going to grow old together, so it doesn't matter, right? Time heals everything. But this song was sort of written by her accidentally as she catwalked across the piano in the living room, and I thought, that's a beautiful melody. I'll write a song into that. She kind of wrote it. She kind of inspired it, and hopefully it talks about our future too. And I want to point you towards one of the remixes called Calm. I think Calm Vocal is the one. I Can't Sleep, Calm Vocal. That's my favorite of the mixes. And I don't have a big keyboard and a synthesizer here today, but I'm going to try to sing the song in the spirit of that. And I hope you can find some calmness. Mug, you're still in the audience, right? You're a yoga teacher. You know all about calm, right? No mosquitoes in the hinterland. Cold and windy. I'll check out the link. Oh, no mosquitoes in the hinterland. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, Robert, good to see you. Oh, Micah, the song Children Brought Him to Tears. And Mark, thank you. I rock, I guess, or I ballad, more accurately. Okay, I'm gonna play I Can't Sleep. This one goes out to my dear friend and my guru, Mark Copeland.
Sleep is all I need. It should come naturally. I'm lost if I'm awake. I toss this way and that, stare at where you slept, and I think of bittersweet. I can't sleep, knowing I'll never sleep beside you. I'll never dream, no, 'cause my dream's to live my life around you. For me there'll be no peace, no peace for me. Sundown fills me with dread. A pill will fix my head. I'm carrying the weight. I can't sleep, knowing I'll never sleep beside you. I'll never dream, no, 'cause my dream's to live my life around you. For me there'll be no peace, no peace for me. As long as I'm alone, I lie here with the night, and I beg my senses peace. Then suddenly a footfall on a floorboard down the staircase in the hallway. Know that you leaving without saying goodbye. No goodbye, no good. Then why'd you show me love? You gave me love. You showed me your love. I can't sleep, knowing I'll never sleep beside you. I'll never dream, no, 'cause my dream's to live my life surrounding you. For me there'll be no peace, no peace for me. My head may never rest till I feel your caress, and you whisper sweetly, sleep.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to do one more for you. I wanted to leave this one to last because, to be honest with you, it's a lot. It's a lot to take. It's a lot to take. Maybe you don't have the greatest audio system right here, and the song might be a little coarse. It was written by Bob Dylan. It's always been a very meaningful song to me. My friend Mike LaVille turned me on to this album, and I'll tell you, when I started seeing when just Black Lives Matter started kicking up, and when the murders and the rioting started kicking up, all I could think about was this song and how I mean, just Bob Dylan was telling it like it was back then, too. And hey, there's plenty of amazing people. I heard Syl Johnson on the radio today, a soul guy, and it's just an unbelievable song called "Is It Because I'm Black?" Just heavy, heavy, heavy stuff. An amazing song, and the same feeling when I thought about Dylan in this song. There's 11 verses to this song because it's about Reuben Hurricane Carter, the middleweight who would be champion, the would-be middleweight champion of the world. And it's about how he was framed and falsely set up. And I hear that some of this was fictionalized. I haven't looked deeply into the story of Reuben Carter, but I just feel like every stanza of this absolutely relates to what's going on right now. And what's going on right now has to stop. And it's neat to hear about police reform on a nationwide level. It's really, really cool. I've been mistreated by the cops a lot in my life, and I can't imagine what those experiences would have been like had I had skin of color. And we need some change. All right, here we go.
Pistol shots ring out in a barroom night. Enter Patty Valentine from the upper hall. She sees a bartender in a pool of blood, cries out, "My God, they've killed them all." This is the story of the hurricane, the man the authorities came to blame for something that he never done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world. 3 bodies lying there, does Patty see? And another man named Bello moving around mysteriously. "I didn't do it," he says, and he throws up his hands. "I was only writing the register, and I hope you understand. I saw them leaving," he says, and he stops. "One of us had better call up the cops." So Patty calls up the cops, and they arrive on the scene with the red lights flashing in a hot New Jersey night. Meanwhile, far away in another part of town, Reuben Carter and a couple of friends are out driving around. #1 contender for the middleweight crowd had no idea what kind of shit was about to go down when a cop pulled him over to the side of the road. Just like the time before and the time before that. In Patterson, that's just the way it goes. If you're black, you better not show up on the streets unless you want to draw the heat. Well, Alfred Bello had a partner and had a rap for the cops. Him and Arthur Dexter Bradley were just out knocking around. He said, "I saw 2 men out and they looked like middleweights. They jumped into a car with out-of-state plates." And Miss Patty Valentine just nodded her head. Cop said, "Well, wait a minute, boys, this one's not dead." So they took him to the infirmary. And though this man could hardly see, they told him he could identify the guilty man. 4 in the morning and they hauled Reuben in, take him to the hospital and they bring him upstairs. The wounded man looks up through his one dying eye, says, "What'd you bring him in here for? He ain't the guy." Yes, here's the story of the hurricane, the man the authorities came to blame for something that he never done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world. 4 months later and the ghettos are in flames. Reuben's in South America fighting for his name, while Arthur Dexter Bradley's still in the robbery game. And the cops are putting screws to him looking for somebody to blame. Remember that murder that you saw in a bar? Remember you said you saw the getaway car? You think you'd like to play ball with the law? Think it might have been that fighter that you saw that night? Don't forget that you are white. Well, Arthur Dexter Bradley said, "I'm really not sure." The cop said, "Hey, a poor boy like you could sure use a break. We got you for the motel job and you're talking to your friend Bello. Now you don't want to go to jail, be a nice fellow. You'd be doing society a favor. That son of a bitch is brave and getting braver. We want to put his ass in a stir. We want to pin this triple murder on him. He ain't no gentleman, Jim. Well, Reuben could take a man out with just one punch, but he never did like to talk about it all that much. It's my work, he said, and I do it for pay. And when it's all over, I just as soon go my way. Up to some paradise where the trout streams flow and the air is nice, and ride a horse along the trail. But they took him to the jailhouse where they tried to turn a man into a mouse. Well, all of Reuben's cards, they were marked in advance. The trial was a pick service. He never had a chance. The judge made Reuben's witnesses drunkards from the slums. To the white folks, he was just a revolutionary bum. And to the white folks, just a crazy nigger. Nobody doubted that he pulled the trigger. And though they could not produce the gun, the DA said he was the one who did the deed, and the all-white jury agreed. Oh, Reuben Carter was falsely tried. Crime was murder one, and guess who testified? Bello and Bradley, and they both so badly lied. And the newspapers, of course, they just went along for the ride. How can the life of such a man be in the palm of some fool's hands? To see him obviously framed couldn't help to make me feel ashamed to live in a land where justice is a game. Now all the criminals in their coats and their ties are free to drink martinis and watch the sun rise, while Reuben sits like Buddha in a 10-foot cell, an innocent man in a living hell. This is the story of the hurricane, the man the authorities came to blame. Now give him back the time he's done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world.
All right. Thank you for letting me be your man in black here today, and honor those that came before us, honor the children that came after us, honor your father. Gary, it's great to have you here. I know your daughter loves you to no end. It's great to have parents in the audience. Oh, my God. Here in the pole barn, in the motorboat. In front of my charging car. You know, there's a lake beyond those trees, and I very easily could have done this live cast somewhere beautiful in the wind where there's fewer mosquitoes. But actually, the echo in here is really nice, and it made for good singing. I love you all. I love you all. What can I say? Peace and love.
Nice job, Willie.